Welcome to another episode, everyone. A 50-50 yard. There in prison, there is one group, there is one kind of individual that can indeed hit a 50-50 yard, and he will not be in violation. There is only one that can hit a 50-50 yard and not be considered bad peoples. I'm not going to continue on with this, but let's say this, because some people still had a question about a 50-50 yard. They asked, could a non-affiliate go to a 50-50 yard and be okay? Can a non-affiliate go and survive, not be in violation, and not be considered bad people? The answer is no. It really depends on the age, if you will. A non-affiliate, though not belonging to a particular gang faction, is still considered a part of the black community. Still a faction then, a section, an ethnicity. You're still part of a group and thus expected to uphold all of the tenets that every other group upholds, including not being PC or going to a protective custody yard. Now, there are a couple of exceptions. I just spoke to someone last night, and we had this discussion about this issue because I want to be clear on exactly the information that I am bringing. And he did say that there is essentially one exception to individuals going on a 50-50 yard and it being accepted. And this is, first, an older individual and someone who has been locked up for a long time. So you're going to be older if you've been locked up for a little while, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. Or if you're just coming to prison, you haven't been locked up for a long time, but you are up in age and you have not done anything wrong. You don't have a long time before you go home. And you just don't want to get involved in anything, so you want to go over to the 50-50 yard. From my understanding, from the discussion that I had last night, and from what I do know, that is oftentimes accepted. Sometimes it's selective politicking even there in prison. There's favoritism. And really, it just depends on who you are at the end of the day. There are some individuals who have hit a 50-50 yard and got away with it, still was able to go back to the main line. And really, no one dared question that individual. At the end of the day, it's all watered down. Prison, the level 4 yards, 50-50 yards, whatever, all of the prisons are becoming 50-50. Pretty much all of them. There are barely any main lines now. Soon, they will all dissipate, the main lines, and there will be nothing but 50-50 yards. So everyone has to adapt because it's so watered down now, the streets and the prisons. That's why I said if you can't make it on the main line now in prison, you're just in trouble. But let me stay focused. That's really it. If you are an older individual who's been locked up for a long time, you don't have any dirt on your name, you don't have any smut, you've been standing tall, you've put in your work already, you've been locked up for 20 years, and now the parole board is about to release you or your parole date is imminent. You can go over to a 50-50 yard. Some people may still frown upon it or whatever, but for the most part, it's going to be accepted because you haven't done anything wrong. You've stood your ground, you've stayed down the whole time, and now it's just time for you to go home. from my understanding, they really just don't want to accept this from younger individuals. If you get locked up and you're turned up, or you're a gang member, and you're under the age of 30, I would say, they expect you to still be active. You were active on the street, you were active in the county jail, you turned up, you still banging your hood and all that. Well, where's this activity now? They expect you to still be active if you're a young individual. If not, don't be pressing the line and saying that you're this and that you're that. If you can't even walk the main line with us. That's just the attitude. So if you're younger, you're going to be expected to hit the main line. Again, non-affiliates, you're really under the same protocols as everyone else. Just because you don't bang, they're still going to expect you to be on the yard to stand down with the brothers then, not with the Crips, not with the Bloods, not with your gang. You don't have a gang, but with the brothers. You're still abandoning your brethren when you run to a 50-50 yard. I'm just telling you that this is the consensus. They have level 1s and 2s that are not 50-50 yards. Only a couple left because most of them are all 50-50 yards now. The whole prison system is flipping. So they're just a couple, and yes, you will be expected to go to one of those yards that is not a 50-50, even if you are a level 1 and are a level 2. You don't have to do something on a 50-50 yard and go to a level 4. You're not going to a level 4 if that's not what your points dictate. You're going to go to the level that you're supposed to be on, regardless. So you still go to a level 3, 2, 1, or a level 4. But it is allowed in rare instances. But really, again, at the end of the day, let it be noted, that is all dead. The penitentiary is dead. The streets are dead. There are no protocols. There are no rules. Everyone is breaking these rules. They have been breaking the rules for some time now. So that's just what it is. It's all watered down, even in prison. So if you have to go to a 50-50 yard in order to make it home, and I want you to come home, I want my brothers at home, and I want everyone at home, then you do what you have to do, bro. I'm not telling you to be some tough guy. You do what you have to do to make it home to your family, the people who are most important to you. You know, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, well, I'm not going to do it. But that's me. I know how to navigate a level 4 yard. And you should too. Just go and mind your own business and you'll be fine. That's just the way it is, anywhere and everywhere. That's on the street. Take care of your business and you will be okay. Yes, the danger is still there. It's there on every yard. It's there in every prison. The threat of danger constantly hanging over one's head. But if you stay out of the way and do what you're supposed to do, then you'll be okay. But again, you do what you have to do. That's fine. I'm not even speaking against it. I'm just saying that if you go to a 50-50 yard, because you're going, as far as the people there in prison are concerned, because you're saying that you're done with this. You can't cut it, or you're not going to cut it. You don't want to cut it anymore. You're done. You want to go home. And so they're only going to have a problem if that's your position and your attitude then. But then when you go to another yard, they're in prison, or you get home, you're turned up, back gang banging, and this, that, and the other. They're saying, where was that energy when you were in there? When you were in there, you said you were cool with all of this. You didn't want no parts of that. So much so that I'm going over here to a 50-50 yard where I don't have to deal with all this stuff. I'm done with you hooligans. But then you hit the streets and you're back a hooligan. That's the problem. And that's all. That's the problem. Other than that, hey, do what you got to do, but just you're going to have to stand on that. You went to a 50-50 yard because you're saying you're done with it, then be done with it. That's all. Stand on that. Be done with it. Don't be done with it in there for whatever reason. And then you go somewhere else and you're not done with it. Now you're super turned up. You were just done with this. You said you were cool. That's your reasoning for going over here, because you want to know more parts of this. That's all. But at the end of the day, it's watered down. It's all trash. The politics are trash. The protocol is trash right there in prison, even on these level 4 yards, bro. It's nothing. It's not the same. Just like the streets are watered down, just like it's F the streets, it's the same thing in the prison system. A lot of these individuals are extremely weak. They just have not been weeded out yet. So you really have not much to fear as long as you're just minding your own business and taking care of your business, because these individuals are not, they don't want any problems like that either. Everyone is trying to go home, even individuals on a level 4 yard. Even individuals who have life sentences without parole have aspirations of freedom. Every single one of those individuals in that prison system has aspirations of freedom. They possess it strongly. We see it in some of these interviews that I cover, where individuals have been in there for 30 years and have life without parole, or have a 100-year life to life sentence. And what are they saying? I'll be home soon. I'm going to be home one day. I'm just keeping faith in God. And every one of them still believe that they're coming. It may be true. It is true for many of them, fortunately. But every one of them believes that everyone in there believes that that's the only hope that you have to hold on to. Once you believe that it's really over, that you're never getting out again, then all kinds of other thoughts begin to sink in, because you realize you have nothing to lose. This lends itself to violence. So you keep the hope that you will be out of there one day. So everyone wants to go home. No one is looking to harm anyone unnecessarily. If someone harms you or is trying to harm you, it's because you've done something wrong. So just don't do anything wrong, and they won't be forced in that position, because even when you do something wrong, they still don't necessarily want to harm you, because they want to go home. They just have to follow the rules, and the rules say that you have to get it because of what you've done, so you have to get it. But that's it, bro. At the end of the day, 50-50 yards, they're there. Nearly every prison is becoming a 50-50. So that's just something everyone has to deal with. And you can go if you want, do what you have to do your time and come home, bro. That's it. Do your time and come home. Just don't come home with the tough talk anymore. That's all. That's it. Just don't come home with the tough talk. Now, I can get into how the 50-50 started and why, and how the blacks got involved in it, when, where, and I may get into that. If you want me to, I will. I can break it all down one more time and go into a little bit more detail about these 50-50 yards and how they came to be. But been talking a lot about it already, so y'all might not want to hear any more about it. That's it. Non-affiliates, older non-affiliates, you can go to a 50-50 yard. Not really going to be frowned upon, especially because you're a non-affiliate. Nobody really finna press no line on you, especially the blacks, bro. Like that, But if you some turned up gang member, you some young hog, you young and turned up, tattooed up everywhere, you was on the street putting in work and in the county jail and your name ringing, yeah, they gonna expect you to hit that yard when you hit prison. They're not expecting all of that background on you, that you turned up, you knocking, you punching on stuff in the county jail, banging, repping your hood hard, and then you hit the prison and go to a 50-50 yard. That's not what they're expecting out of you. So, but if you some older dude, OG, who've been locked up a long time, you're like, bro, I'm going over here. I'm about to go home. Parole board said they don't want me in no more trouble. I can go. They gonna tell you, bro, especially your homies and all that, man, go do what you gotta do, bro. You ain't do nothing bad. You're not a coward. You're not a chomo. You're not a snitch. Time for you to go. You got to go. So there are situations where you can go to a 50-50 yard, and it's not necessarily going to be frowned upon, particularly as it relates to the blacks. Yeah. But again, if you're older, if you don't gang bang, it's really, the bottom line is, if you're young and you turned up, they're going to expect you to carry that on when you hit prison. That doesn't mean you hit the yard and be turned up. They don't work like that in prison. You can't do that. But if you're a young hog, yeah, they want you there with them. They don't want these weaklings there with them. They want a young hog there with them. So you'll be expected to be over there with them in the general population. That's if you're turned up, young and turned up. They're going to expect that same energy when you hit the yard, when you hit prison. Don't do all that. Be young, turned up, violent, and then hit prison and go over there and hang out with the chomos and the snitches on the 50-50 yard after you was just turned up. That's all they're saying. But it's not my fight. I'm no longer in prison. I'm not going back if I can help it. And I don't want any of you in there either. That's the whole point, And if you do happen to go for whatever reason, then you do what you have to do to come home. Don't snitch and all that. But program and come home, bro. Yeah, damn what anybody has to say about it. Do what you got to do to get home for yourself. That just doesn't mean snitch and throw everyone else under the bus. You take your own case, you do what you got to do. But if you want to go to 50-50 yard because you want to get home, then you do what you got to do. Yes, I disagree with it. No, I'm not going to go. But that's me. You do what you got to do to make it home to your loved ones. That's what's important. So there you have it. Some individuals can't hit a 50-50 yard, and they're not going to be considered bad. And then you have the favoritism. They're OGs that are over there from different hoods right now. They're not really frowned upon, bro. Ain't nobody talking about it. Ain't nobody going to say nothing to them on the street or even in prison. They're not going to say nothing, especially if they over there. They've been locked up for a long time. They haven't done anything wrong. No snitching, no trying to steal anything, nothing like that. They just went over there because it's tired of these mainline politics. They've been dealing with it for the last 20 plus years. Going home soon, and bro, I'm out of here. No one's going to say anything to them. They really going to be selective on who they even attack. That was on the 50-50 yard. Oh, you was over there, about to attack you. Oh, the big homie was over there. Yeah. He ain't doing nothing wrong. He good. That's how it is, bro. Politics, selective politics, favoritism. Nobody's really stomping no hard line in there like that these days. It's not happening like that. Again, I don't want to minimize it like prison is just a joke, because it's not. But it's not turned up like that anymore. You just do what you got to do, you'll be good. These dudes not on that in there like that. They're not turned up like that, bro. Do what you got to do, and you'll be good. Whatever that means for you, then that's what you do, bro, without snitching. Stay safe and stay free, people.